Would everybody please rise for the processional?
Good afternoon. It is good to be together. My name is Al Dumney. I'm pastor at Sinai Lutheran. We're on the southwest edge of Midland's University's campus. I'm very glad that we can all be here today. I count President Allie Williams as a true neighbor, a trusted colleague, even a friend. I am honored to share our opening prayer invocation this day. Midland University's mission statement, of course, is to inspire people to learn and lead in the world with purpose. The Apostle Paul wrote to the Corinthians, "To each is given the manifestation of the Spirit, gifts, talents, passions for the common good." Purpose. Einstein is quoted as saying, "Only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile." Please join with me in a word of prayer. God of wisdom, of meaning and purpose, and so joy, we praise you that you have created us in such a way that we can see that our talents, insights, knowledge, no matter how great, are not our destination. They are simply vehicles that move us to live lives of passion and purpose. We give thanks for all the institutions of higher learning and the individuals and communities that they serve, particularly this day. We ask for your continued blessing upon Midland University, the students, staff, faculty, and administration. And most especially, we ask that your hand would bless and guide President Allie Williams. Surround her with and help her to always have a clear sense of our care and support. Guide her that she might continue to listen, learn, and grow in knowledge and insight, full maturity in the faith and her calling. Grant her a spirit of bold trust that her work might stir each of us up to a life of fruitful use of our gifts and talents. That Midland University would not only thrive as an institution, but that it would excel in living out its mission, inspiring people to learn and to lead in the world with purpose. We pray this in the name of the one who has created all and has blessed us that we might care for, love, and serve all with passion and purpose and so joy. Amen. You may be seated.
A reading from Scripture from Ecclesiastes 3. For everything there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to harvest, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build up, a time to cry and a time to laugh, a time to grieve and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to turn away, a time to search and a time to quit searching, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be quiet and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. What do people really get out of their hard work? I've seen the burden God has placed on all of us, yet God has made everything beautiful in its own time. He has planted eternity in the human heart, but even so, people cannot see the whole scope of God's work from the beginning to the end. So I concluded there is nothing better than to be happy and enjoy ourselves as long as we can, and people should eat and drink and enjoy the fruits of labor, for these are the gifts of God. And I know that whatever God does, and it is final, nothing to be added to it or taken from it.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of everyone at Midland University, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the inauguration ceremony of Dr. Allie Williams, the 17th president of Midland University. My name is Dr. Jamie Simpson, and I have the privilege of serving as the Vice President for Academic Affairs and Chief Academic Officer. To begin our ceremony, we would like to welcome the delegates representing other colleges and universities who are able to join us today. We also greet our own faculty and outstanding emeriti faculty who are here to celebrate with us. We're honored to host our platform party, whose members have come together today to bring greetings as Midland University moves forward under the leadership of a new president. I also offer a warm welcome to our community members who are representing our valued business partners, and the esteemed Midland University Board of Trustees or Board of Directors, the valued members of our Midland community, our student body, the staff, and all other friends who are here to celebrate with us today. Thank you for being with us on this very important occasion. And now I'm pleased to introduce a distinguished member of the Midland University faculty, Dr. Carrie Williams. Carrie serves as the chair of the Faculty Senate and professor of education and continues to make incredible impact in the Midland academic community. Through her commitment to excellence in teaching, Dr. Williams has continually inspired students to broaden their perspective and apply their knowledge in meaningful and transformative ways.
Thank you. As Dr. Simpson mentioned, my name is Carrie Williams, and I am honored to represent the faculty in welcoming President Williams to Midland University. President Williams, that has kind of a nice ring to it. Seriously, my email is williams@midlandu.edu. Please check your addresses to make sure that I don't get any of your sensitive information. As I reflect on President Williams' inauguration and what this moment means for Midland, I am reminded of what Eleanor Duckworth calls the having of wonderful ideas. Duckworth did not mean to suggest that we have to have huge, complex ideas, although we've had some of those at Midland. For example, the implementation of iPads for every student, the DRIVE curriculum, and all the programs for working students at the center in Omaha. Duckworth was talking about the quiet spaces where experiences and reflection evolve and bubble up into ideas, aha moments, and wonders. She was talking about the opportunities for wonderful ideas that move us to grow. Duckworth says, wonderful ideas do not spring out of nothing. They build on a foundation of other ideas. Wonderful ideas are built on other wonderful ideas. At Midland, those spaces fit for the having of wonderful ideas include a diverse student population, a faculty willing to innovate and collaborate, and an administration that provides a landscape where wonderful ideas, big and small, are valued. President Williams, my wish for you and for all of us at Midland is to have rich spaces for the sparks and the peace that come with the having of wonderful ideas. Thank you for allowing me to represent faculty as we warmly welcome President Williams to Midland University.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. It is now my pleasure to introduce Kay Hoffenberger, Student Senate President. Kay is providing energetic leadership for Midland University's nearly 1,200 undergraduate students. Today, she brings greetings from the student body to Midland University's new president.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kay Hoffensberger, and in a few months, I will walk across this very stage receiving a degree of my own. It is really true when they tell you that these 4 years of college fly by. But the reason we are all gathered here today is to celebrate the start of a legacy that will live longer than just one student's time here at Midland. It is an honor and a great pleasure to stand before you today on behalf of our student body to speak about someone special as President Williams. At Midland, our mission statement is simple. Midland University inspires people to learn and lead in the world with purpose. Getting a college education isn't all about passing exams or writing essays. It's becoming a person of utmost character, one who shows integrity and keeps an open mind while learning new things. A true education seeks to transform one's soul. At least that is what ancient Greek philosophers Aristotle and Plato had in mind. A Midland education is focused on 5 core values: faith, quality, respect, stewardship, and learning. Students are pushed to go beyond their boundaries and take courses outside of their major to try new things. It is these experiences that improve one's character. Under the guidance and leadership of Allie Williams, the sky is the limit. She is the one who shapes our campus into an environment that will catalyze this transformation among students. It is the vision she has for students and provides an education that makes young people more thoughtful after their time at Midland. Midland University is a very unique place, and everyone in this tight-knit community knows it. From the very first time I stepped foot on campus, I knew this is where I wanted and needed to be. It was almost as clear as a vision that I could see myself on this campus learning and making connections and growing as an individual. When I was looking at colleges, I wanted to go to a place where I could make a difference, but also be somewhere that felt like home. Midland University is exactly that. President Williams is a perfect match for Midland University because she embodies the qualities as students we desire in this institution. She is a friendly face at any door she walks through. She is an uplifting presence on campus and a supportive fan at every event. She has every student's best interest in mind when making a positive impact on campus. In the short time she has been here, she has already made such an impact. She is strong, yet caring and kind. Her vision of education is clear, and her leadership style is nothing short of admirable. It is with open arms that we, the students, welcome President Williams to our campus, our home.
Thank you, Kay. It is now my pleasure to introduce Nick Verba. Nick is a 2004 graduate of Midland University and currently serves as the president of RBR Bank in Fremont. Today, Nick is bringing greetings on behalf of Midland University alumni and the Fremont community.
Good afternoon. President Williams, esteemed guests, member of the Board of Directors, faculty, staff, students, and my fellow alumni, it is a proud honor to stand here today. As they've mentioned, my name is Nick Verba, president of RVR Bank, and more importantly today, a proud member of the Midland University class of 2004. I speak for the thousands of dedicated alumni in this state and the entire local community when I say welcome. We are thrilled to welcome you, President Williams, as you begin your new vital chapter. At the bank, we often talk about the power of three things: relationships, values, and results. I believe that trinity applies just as well to a great university. First, relationships. A university's strength is built on a foundation of trust. The relationship between this institution and the local community is a defining one. We rely on the university to be a place of honest inquiry, open dialogue, and shared ambition. President Williams, we are committed to strengthening that bond under your leadership to ensure that the town and the gown thrive together. Second, values. This institution has always stood for more than just degrees. It stands for the character and integrity of the people it molds. In a world that often feels fractured, the values instilled here of service, critical thought, and ethical leadership are the anchors. As an employer, I can tell you that when we hire a Midland University graduate, we aren't just getting a smart mind. We're getting a person of substance, ready to contribute meaningfully from day one. And that brings me to my third point, results. We are truly blessed in this community by the caliber of the students this university produces. In our industry alone, Midland graduates are our next analysts, our loan officers, our executive team members, and our thought leaders. They are the engine of our local economy. The results of this university can be measured in the successful, ethical, and engaged citizens that are launched into the world, who ultimately become the fabric of the workforce. They are individuals that are encouraged to learn and lead in the world with purpose. President Williams, you are taking the helm at a moment of both great challenge and enormous possibility. The pace of change has never been faster. We do not challenge you simply to maintain the status quo. We challenge you to dream bigger, stay relentlessly relevant, to ask harder questions, and to embrace innovation with courage. We challenge you to continue to grow and lead this great institution into its next great era. The alumni, the faculty, the students, the community, and the business sector stand ready to link arms with you. We are your partners, we are your advocates, and we are excited to see the great work that begins with you here today. Congratulations, President Williams.
Thank you, Nick. It is now my pleasure to introduce Bishop Scott Allen Johnson of the Nebraska Synod, who will bring greetings on behalf of the Synod and the Evangelical Lutheran Church of America.
President Williams, Midland students, faculty, and staff, members of the Board of Directors, and others who support the good work of Midland University, thank you for the invitation to be here with you today, and it is my privilege to say, on behalf of the 80,000 disciples in 216 Nebraska Synod congregations across the state, welcome, Dr. Williams. We've been praying for you. Higher education faces many challenges, financial pressures, shifting demographics, questions about the benefits of a liberal arts education in a pragmatic age. And as a university with roots in the Lutheran faith, Midland is also navigating a changing religious landscape in which the ethnic ties that once bound churches together no longer define and sustain them, requiring a reformation as substantial and necessary as the one which birthed Protestant faith over 500 years ago. Midland is a member of NECU. That's the network of ELCA colleges and universities. Yeah, that's right, and Dr. Williams noticed that it's an acronym within an acronym. Nick, Taylor, marketing folks, just pretend you didn't hear any of that. But the common calling of NECU member institutions is to remain rooted in Lutheran heritage, which means to be grounded in faith and vocation, and yet open to the insights, values, voices, and challenges of the world in which we live. And my prayer is that under Dr. Williams' leadership, Midland will continue to live into the tension of this calling, firmly anchored and faithfully evolving, confident in its heritage and curious toward new horizons. And I want to say a word to you, faculty, staff, students, and supporters of Midland. You are also partners in this work, because your shared gifts, your prayers, and your commitment will sustain and strengthen President Williams as she steps into this role, and you will create the atmosphere in which this entire university either stands or falls. This world needs leaders who are intellectually acute, humbly open to others, vocationally wise, morally astute, and religiously sensitive. And I hope and pray that all of us will commit ourselves to being rooted in faith and open to the world in the days to come. So, Dr. Williams, to you I offer these words of blessing and encouragement. May you lead with humility, listening with grace and seeking to serve. May you be open and courageous, willing to adapt, to change, to discern what God is calling Midland to become in this moment. And may you be rooted in the Lutheran tradition of vocation, seeing every student, faculty, and staff person as a child of God who has been called for a purpose. So with joy and thanksgiving, the Nebraska Synod extends our heartfelt blessings to you, Dr. Williams, on your inauguration as president of Midland University. May the one who creates, redeems, and sustains grant you wisdom, courage, and hope, and may Midland University continue to be rooted and open, learning and leading with purpose.
Thank you, Bishop Johnson. And thank you to all of the speakers who brought greetings to us today. And now, for the presentation of President Williams, we are pleased to welcome Chancellor of Indiana Wesleyan University National and Global, Dr. Eileen Holm. Dr. Holm has extensive experience at all levels of higher education. She served undergraduate students as the Vice President for Student Life at Baylor University, was a graduate faculty member at Azusa Pacific University, and currently leads Indiana Wesleyan University National and Global, enrolling almost 12,000 adult students. Dr. Holm thrives on innovation, always looking ahead, pushing and challenging those she leads to continue to dream and push to advance higher education. Please welcome Dr. Holm.
Distinguished guests, members of the Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, alumni, friends, and our beloved students. Well done, you're still here. That's awesome. It's a deep honor to stand with you today as we mark the historic moment in the life of Midland University and welcome its new president, Allie Williams. Every generation faces its own turning point in higher education. Ours is defined by change that is constant and at times exhausting, complexity that is accelerating, and yet a calling that remains the same, to educate not just minds, but whole persons. The world our graduates enter demands adaptability, integrity, and imagination. It needs citizens who can hold conviction and curiosity in the same breath. Dr. Williams embodies that rare combination. She is a leader who listens before she acts, who asks deeper questions when easy answers might suffice, and who believes that wisdom and compassion are not opposing forces, but partners in the pursuit of truth. Under her leadership, this university will continue to honor its faith tradition, one that welcomes doubt as a part of belief and service as an expression of scholarship. She understands that education is sacred work. It shapes not only careers, but character, not only intellect, but compassion, not only success, but significant. But what you should really know about Allie is that she plays a mean game of golf, and I mean mean. So be ready. She roots for the Dallas Cowboys, which is a significant character flaw for her. And she might not be able to tell you what a Cornhusker is yet, but she does know what a Hoosier is, and I can't say the same for myself. But what you should also know is that Allie leads with both clarity and hope. She recognizes that the future will not be built by those who fear change, but by those who imagine something better through it. And she brings to this presidency a spirit desperately needed in higher education that unites courage with grace, vision with humility, and conviction with care. It is my profound honor to introduce to you the new president of this remarkable university, Dr. Allie Williams.
Thank you so much, Dr. Holm. And now we've come to the focal point of today's ceremony, the investiture of Dr. Allie Williams as the 17th president of Midland University. The investiture will be conducted by Mr. Stephen Fye, chairman of the Midland University Board of Directors.
Thank you, Jamie, and it is my honor to serve as your board of directors. Midland University has been a leader in education since its founding in 1883. The institution prides its ability to inspire its nearly 1,700 graduate and undergraduate students to learn and lead in the world with purpose. When the board unanimously voted to extend an offer to Allie last January, the board knew that we had identified an individual of high moral character and impeccable academic credentials who was the right person to become the 17th president of Midland. We knew Dr. Williams could lead the university as we continue to serve our students and our community, and she will represent Midland as our leader for the foreseeable future. Prior to joining Midland, Allie had an illustrious educational career, 25 years at Indiana Wesleyan University, where she assumed numerous leadership capacities, focused on developing and instilling leadership qualities with all the constituencies she interfaced with. Since moving to Fremont, she's been focused on continuing the success of Midland, the students, the faculty, the community that Midland serves, and the alumni who are proud to call Midland their alma mater. At this time, I'm proud to ask Dr. Allie Williams to come forward for her investiture as the 17th president of Midland University. Dr. Williams, as you stand here today, you are dressed in the presidential regalia, a wardrobe that binds us to centuries of academic tradition. The three velvet arms on the sleeves signify the highest academic achievement of scholarship, the doctoral degree. Your robe is marked by an additional fourth chevron. That unique chevron is not merely decorative, it's the official visual symbol of your rank and authority as the executive at Midland University. This is going to be the challenging part for me. The presidential medallion, engraved with the seal of Midland, a lasting symbol of this office, it represents the history, the tradition of our institution, and the authority of its leadership, and the continuity of its mission. Receive it now as a sacred trust and constant reminder to uphold the university's mission and core values and guide its future with wisdom and integrity. Allie, you've been duly elected to serve as president of Midland University. It's my pleasure, as chairman of Midland University Board of Directors, to install you in that office with all its requisite rights, privileges, and responsibilities. I hereby present you with that medallion as a symbol of your office. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 17th president of Midland University, Dr. Allie Williams. You're up.
Thank you. Hi, sweetie. I'm not sure there's much better than having your granddaughter in the front row waving at you every 10 seconds. To the Board of Directors, I am grateful and humbled by the honor and proudly accept the role of President of Midland University. Thank you for this amazing opportunity. To the Midland faculty, staff, and students, thank you for an incredible first few months. I look forward to many more to come. As an outsider to Midland and to Nebraska, you've welcomed me with open arms. Thank you very much. And I see my head up there, my face up there. Thank you. Specifically to the senior leadership team, thanks for all of your hard work thus far and partnership, and I am excited for the things to come. And finally, to my family and friends, thanks for making the trip to my watch party in Indiana. I know you're there. I appreciate your support more than you know. I'm incredibly excited to be here today, standing before you as Midland's 17th president. That's what the shirts mean. Students, if you're wondering, choir, if you didn't get a shirt, make sure you get one on your way out, okay. It's not just because it's the 17th of October, that was a happy accident, but it is also my parents' 55th wedding anniversary today. Aw, yeah. So I had a lot of options about what I could talk about today. I considered a deep dive into higher ed policy and government regulations, but let's be honest, there's not a lot happening there these days, so I figured there probably wasn't much to talk about. Yeah, you can laugh, that's okay. Then there's always the option of PowerPoint presentations and charts and extensive graphs, but I would like you all to stay awake. So instead, I decided to tell you a story about Midland University, but first we begin on a grain farm in Southern Illinois, because I am a farm girl at heart. I grew up on that grain farm in Southern Illinois, and I have lots of wonderful memories. Farming taught me a lot of things, and I can see how those have carried over into my professional life. Now, I don't know as a kid that I really fully appreciated it all that I should have. As a teenager, I know I did not appreciate having to wake up very early on a weekday on my summer vacation to walk a bean field and weed out scavenger corn. And if you don't know what that means, ask a farm kid, they'll be able to tell you. I know we did it early to avoid the heat of the day, but as a teenager on summer break, I am certain I did not believe that was a positive thing. Sorry, Dad. Looking back at that, though, and other experiences, I can see how growing up on a farm taught me how to work hard, how to be patient, how to persevere, and how to be a good steward of available resources. Farming also taught me a lot about distinct seasons and the importance of each one. It's not just about the harvest, although that's the reason why we do the work, right? It's the payoff at the end. But a fruitful harvest doesn't happen without the other seasons and necessary things that must happen during those seasons. And as you heard earlier from Ecclesiastes 3, read by my daughter, to everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. Whether on the farm or in our own lives or even at an academic institution such as Midland, each season helps to shape who we were, who we are, and most importantly, who we are to become. Each academic year has its own season. It's a natural flow from summer preparation to a lonely campus without students. It's lonely without you here in the summertime, to the first day of school and the excitement of the fall, to the end of a semester, Christmas break, a new spring, a semester in the spring, and then finally commencement, which signifies the end of the academic season. And many of you students might be doing that this spring, right? That signifies the end of that season, the harvest, so to speak, when students, faculties, and staff get to see the fruits of their labor and the reward of countless hours spent getting to that specific point in time. But an academic institution has seasons as well, and Midland has moved through many of those seasons. We have a rich history as Midland College, combined with Luther Academy in 1962 to become Midland Lutheran College, and the joining together of those two institutions to become something new while maintaining the history of what was. In 2010, Midland Lutheran College became Midland University. As a newcomer to this place, I've loved hearing the stories of so many alumni about their experiences, each at a different point in time from a different perspective. And those stories include wonderful memories of lifelong friendships, life-changing experiences, and examples of how their time at Midland launched them into their vocation and life of service. But some of those memories, if I'm honest, paint a picture of a more difficult time, the cold winter months, if you will, in those early days of Midland University. And in farming, winter is a cold time. The ground is frozen, and I haven't experienced a Nebraska winter yet, but I hear they're not much different than Indiana, so looking forward to that. The ground is frozen, everything feels dark and dead. And on the farm, I always found myself dreaming of the spring, the sound of the tractor running and the warmth of the sunshine, and the sight of a newly tilled field. I love the springtime, but the winter is necessary. It is a time for the ground to recover and to prepare for the season ahead. Isaiah 55:10 through 11 says, "As the rain and snow come down from heaven and do not return to it without watering and making it bud and flourish, so that it yields seed for the sower and bread for the eater." It goes later in the passage, it says, "It will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire and achieve the purpose for which it was sent." Sometimes it's difficult to be in a dark winter season. Winter can feel isolating, and this passage tells us that the winter and the snow and the rain come to the earth with a purpose, to water the earth and prepare us for what is to come. And Midland, I believe, has experienced this winter season, and while I didn't experience it for myself, I've heard from alumni, board members, community leaders, faculty, and staff about those days where there were suggestions about Midland, quote, "on the brink," which is unfortunate and frankly a reality for some institutions these days, and that is not us in our current reality, thankfully. But I would think you could certainly describe that as a winter season. Things felt frozen, trust was tested, relationships were damaged, and many were left wondering if the spring would ever come. But it is important to remember that the winter season is not the end. Instead, a winter season is a season of recovery and of preparation. This season in Midland's history is important, as I believe it taught the community resilience, determination, and grit. It's a season we should not forget, but must also not belabor, because at the end of the winter comes the spring. And in the spring, on the farm, it was time to till the ground and prepare it for the season ahead. I can still remember hearing the tractor roar to life for the first time after a long winter and seeing the disc work the ground in preparation for planting and seeing the first signs of growth, those little bitty sprouts of corn and beans in the field. There is an amazing sense of optimism and excitement about the future and what lies ahead. It's often a muddy season, but full of promise and possibility. And Isaiah 43:19 says, "See, I am doing a new thing, and now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" This was God's promise to the people of Israel thousands of years ago, and it is also a promise to you and me today. He made a path for them through impossible situations. God called them, and He calls us to look beyond the past and trust in His power to bring about something new and something hopeful. Here at Midland, I believe we are living in the springtime season. Past presidents worked hard to bring us out of that winter and into the spring to begin to cultivate the ground. Work of a president like Jody Horner and her faithful work she did during her tenure to bring Midland into the place we are today and into this season of spring, which has positioned us well for the future. So now we must use what remains of the springtime to determine what seeds we will plant, what new ideas we might cultivate, ideas rooted in our mission to inspire people to learn and lead in the world with purpose. But planting is not a solitary act. It requires many hands with many hearts and a shared vision. The work ahead will call on us all, faculty, staff, students, alumni, community partners, to come together and dream boldly. Because once the seeds are chosen and planted and the soil is ready, a season of growth begins. Spring is not just about hope, it's about action. It's about tending to what we've planted and ensuring it grows strong into the summer. On the farm, summer is a time of growth, but also careful observation, a season where farmers work to create an optimal environment for crops to thrive. It isn't a passive season of just waiting and hoping crops grow. There are often long, hot days that require a lot of hard work and patience. During this time, crops are vulnerable to drought, to pests, and to a threat of weeds. And I just realized I used the word pests. I'm calling none of you pests. Farmers must be vigilant, protecting against anything that might hinder growth. Here in Nebraska, I've learned and I've seen that this can mean watering and these impressive irrigation systems. In Illinois, it meant we waited for rain. But it also means spraying fields to keep them clear of weeds. Weeds are not just nuisances, they are distractions that can choke the growth of things that truly matter. In one of his most famous parables, Jesus describes a farmer who scattered seeds in a field. And Matthew 13:8 says and reminds us that the seeds that fell on the fertile soil, not on the rocky or the weedy areas, produced a crop that was 30, 60, or even 100 times greater than what had been planted. Over the next several years, I hope to guide us from a season of planting into our summer season, a time when we take our ideas and our springtime plantings from concept to action, as we nurture them and watch them grow. This will take hard work and careful observation. The watering process means creating the right conditions, placing the right people in the right roles, and providing the appropriate resources needed to shape and watch those ideas grow. But weeding is also equally important. It means recognizing what ideas we maybe started that weren't quite what we thought they might be, or identifying distractions that pull us away from our mission and removing them so that the most promising ideas can flourish. I'm sure you've heard me say it. One of my favorite statements about planning is we can do anything we want to. We just have to be careful not to try to do everything we want. In higher education, we're often great at starting new initiatives. We're not always great at knowing when to pause and take an evaluation and look at if something is producing the kind of harvest that we need. Summer is a season to discern, to focus, and to invest in what will help Midland thrive so that our fall harvest season becomes a time of celebration, when we begin to see tangible evidence that our mission is being fulfilled and that Midland is growing in purpose and impact. Now on the farm, the fall harvest season is the time where you get to witness and celebrate the fruits of your labors, and we are living in that season right now. Most people recognize the sight of a combine in the field, but for me, it was a sign of a harvest. There were also grain wagons and semi-trucks transporting the crop, and most of us have the season where we get a little disgruntled because we're behind one of those grain trucks or semi-trucks on the road, but those are necessary. And there's also the smell of dust in the air, and for me, the hum of the fans running in the grain bins as I fell asleep, as they were drying the grain in preparation for sale. Galatians 6:9 reminds us, "Let us not grow weary in doing good. For the proper time, we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." May this give us the encouragement we need to continue forging ahead, to be diligent and stay focused, and to trust that our efforts will bear fruit. If we move through the seasons with intention, planting ideas, nurturing them, and tending to them with care, then we will begin to see the signs of a meaningful harvest. And the harvest season begins where it matters most, in the lives of our students. Student thriving and flourishing must be our highest priority. Students, you are the reason that Midland faculty and staff do what they do. Their ideas and dreams for this institution are rooted in their love for you and their desire to see you succeed. And as a Lutheran institution, you've heard we are called to help you discover your God-given calling, your vocation. And our programs and offerings should not simply prepare you for a career, but empower you to serve your neighbor so that everyone can flourish. But to truly support our students, we must also cultivate a harvest in other vital areas. First, a thriving faculty and staff. When we invest in our employees, we empower them to invest in students. Midland must work to provide an atmosphere, resources, and support that allow faculty and staff to thrive in their work and their own vocational calling. Next, a strong and connected community. Our partnership with the City of Fremont and its businesses is essential. The relationship between a small college and its local community is mutually beneficial, each one helping the other to thrive. And as one grows, I believe so does the other. And we must continue to strengthen these ties and seek new ways to support one another. And finally, sustainable growth and long-term impact. A flourishing campus community is one that draws in future students and expands its reach and deepens its mission. Continued enrollment is not just a metric, it's a sign that Midland is a place where people want to belong, to learn, and to lead. These are the signs of a healthy harvest. If we remain faithful to the work, the mission, and one another, I believe Midland will continue to grow and prosper, not just for one season, but for many seasons to come. As we move forward together, I want to again express my gratitude for the trust placed in me. I accept the responsibilities with this role and do so with humility, hope, and a commitment to serve Midland University and the community with integrity. I believe in the power of collaboration, and I know that the work ahead cannot be done alone, and it will take all of us working together, united by purpose and shared mission. So let's step into these new seasons ready to plant, to nurture, and to grow. Let's cultivate new ideas rooted in purpose, develop relationships built on trust, and create a campus community where students, faculty and staff are supported, challenged, and inspired to flourish. I am excited about the future, and I am excited to be here. I believe the seasons ahead for Midland are full of promise and opportunity. Let's step into them together with a shared commitment to our students and to the Midland University we are building together, because the harvest ahead depends on all of us. Thanks.
Though I have been wounded, aching heart full of pain, still I rise, yes, still I rise. Just like a budding rose, my bloom is nourished by rain. Still I rise, yes, still I rise. Haven't time to wonder why, though fearful I strive. Still I rise, yes, still I rise. My prayer and faith have pulled me till my courage arrives. Still I rise, still I rise.
All right. Thank you, President Williams, for your inspiring words and for your vision for Midland University. We welcome you as our president and wish you God's blessing for a long and successful time as leadership of this very special place. At this time, I would also like to recognize the Midland University Choir under the leadership of Mr. Joel Johnston and accompanist Mark Misfeld. That was wonderful. Thank you. Thank you all for joining us today on this celebratory occasion. On behalf of President Williams and the university, I would like to invite you all to join us for a reception immediately following the recessional in Hopkins Arena right up here, where we'll enjoy fellowship, food, and refreshments. At this time, I would like to invite Lisa Cramey, Director for Campus Ministry and Spiritual Wellness, and Keaton Mackin, Midland University student, to the podium to offer a closing blessing. After the blessing, we ask that the audience be seated and remain seated until the recessional is complete. Thank you.
Please rise for the benediction.
May the peace of God be in your heart, the grace of God be in your words.
May the love of God be in your hands, the joy of God be in your soul, and the song that your life sings. Amen.
Amen.
Will the audience please be seated for the recessional?